All right, this is where things get interesting. What's a classic Christmas cookie that also serves as beautiful tree decorations? Betty Crocker's answer: stained glass cookies. I'm Melinda and I'm cooking my way through Betty Crocker's 1971 recipe card library. Today we're making stained glass cookies, which are from section A, seasonal favorites, card number 24. These are such beautiful cookies. I'm really excited to give them a try. I am really nervous. As you can see on the front of the card, it's kind of a basic sugar cookie shape, but then they've taken really brightly colored sugar cookie dough and cut it into these like beautiful geometric architectural shapes that kind of come together to create a stained glass effect on the top of the cookie. It seems like a lot of work. I don't know how we're gonna do. I also don't know how it's kept its shape so well. I feel like when I put these in the oven, they're just gonna kind of like blob out as they cook, and the colors are gonna like all touch. But like the way that they're kind of very carefully cut with just the right amount of like negative space in between each shape seems really difficult to achieve, but they're so beautiful. I had to give them a try, right? So let's get started. All right, let's make our sugar cookie dough. We're gonna start by mixing our butter, confectioner sugar, egg, and flavorings together. So we have 2 sticks of softened butter here. Put that in the bowl first. Then we have 1.5 cups of confectioner sugar going in, 1 egg, and then I have a teaspoon of vanilla and a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. Let's stir this together. I am very curious, like, what about this particular sugar cookie recipe would potentially help us with our kind of building of the stained glass cookies, because like, as you can see from the front of the card, the shapes, the colored shapes are so well defined even after baking that I wonder if this is like a more structural way to make a sugar cookie compared to like the average, which might just kind of like blob out as it cooks. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're using powdered sugar instead of regular sugar. I don't know. Really trying to get this butter broken down and incorporated. That's the one bad thing about using powdered sugar is usually with a cookie dough, granulated sugar kind of helps like really separate the butter and like mix into the butter, aerate the butter. But with this, it's like less forceful. Now we're gonna add our flour. I'm gonna add like 1/2 to start. I'm also gonna add our baking soda and cream of tartar. Again, I think cream of tartar is interesting for this cookie recipe. I would normally do like baking soda and baking powder. So again, I'm just curious. I'm no scientist, but I'm just curious. All right, let's get cleaned up and then we'll divide it into our 5 colors. So I have our big clump of dough, and what we have to do is first divide it in half. Step 1 complete. Do I think these are equal halves? We'll see. Then we set this half aside. This will be our base sugar cookie. Then we're gonna divide this one into 5 parts. So to do that, I think I'm gonna go kind of like more like a log that I could divide in 5. Sure, why not? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This last one is not as big. Now what I'm gonna do is I have these little gel food colorings, which Betty says for brightly colored cookies, use paste food color available in most specialty stores. So this isn't paste, it's gel, but I still think that the idea is there. It's a more concentrated form of the color, so we'll get really vibrant colored cookie dough. So I had decided to go with what I saw in the photo. Seems to be a red, an orange, a yellow, a green, and a blue. But my package came with this like tealish blue that I think will actually look really similar to the one on the card. So let's just get started. I am wearing gloves because I have a feeling that it will stain my hands. Let's start with yellow. I feel like let's just go lightest to darkest in terms of coloring. I feel like that'll keep things the cleanest. Okay, what do I even do? How do I even do this? Ooh, jelly. It says color portions with food colors. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna start with a couple drops, and then I'm just gonna like fold it in. See what happens. See, it's colorful, but it's not enough. Let's go with more. Let's do 2 more drops. Should I be doing this with a spoon instead of by hand? I don't know. I feel like by hand, first of all, it becomes a craft. Now I just feel like I'm playing with Play-Doh, or like I'm one of those slime channels, slime tutorial. But I also feel like it's just the best way to get a bright color incorporated. Look at that. It's pretty yellow. There's so much butter in this that it's just like oily. One down, others to go. Oh yeah. Okay, beautiful. We have our 5 colors. So I'm gonna wrap these up in plastic wrap, and then we'll put them in the fridge for 2-ish hours to harden, and then we'll roll them out and cut them. If there's one iconic dessert during the holiday season, it's the Christmas cookie. These days, there are infinite variations, all sorts of shapes, colors, flavors, and textures, but the simple sugar cookie reigns supreme. So how did sugar cookies come to be, and why do we leave them out for Santa each Christmas? Well, cookies as a dessert first started to appear in the 17th century in England, actually as a byproduct of baking. When wood ovens were still in use, it was common to test the intensity of the heat with a small amount of cake batter before baking the full cake. This led to all kinds of small treats as leftover little snacks, and they started to go by many names: gingerbread, jumbles, Shrewsbury cakes, cryberries, plunkets, and gemmels. Compared to the most decadent, complex desserts of the time, family realized that these quick and easy little bites of dessert could be made simply, and by the 1870s, they became common weekday fare in middle-class homes. Dutch settlers in New York were also making these small cakes around this time, which they called cookie, similar to the English small cakes, but with an important innovation: chemical leavening. Their recipe is the most similar one to the modern sugar cookie we eat today. Cookies are given as gifts around Christmas due to an agrarian farming tradition. In the cold, dark winter months, farmers would visit friends, family, and neighbors, bringing simple gifts like sugar cookies. It then took off as a holiday-specific tradition in the 1930s during the Great Depression, as parents were trying to teach their children that it was important to give to others and show gratitude for the gifts they were lucky enough to receive on Christmas. So it makes sense that children would want to give cookies to Santa as a gift too. All right, we're ready to make our cookies. I don't really have a plan, and Betty doesn't give me much instruction. She just says, roll plain half of dough, a 1/8 inch thick, on a lightly floured cloth-covered board. We'll start there. We're gonna start there. Got our plain colored dough. It's very hard now, so we'll see how this rolls. Gonna lightly dust with some flour here. I don't want to use too much flour in these situations, I don't think. And we're gonna take some flour on our rolling pin as well. And we're gonna roll it out. We're gonna see what happens. It's very firm. Is the sugar cookie dough supposed to be this firm? How am I gonna get it to 1/8 of an inch? There's a weird hole in the middle. We're ignoring that. My estimation is I'm only gonna get like 5 cookies out of this endeavor, because it seems too complicated. Okay, do you think that's 1/8 of an inch? It's a weird shape, because I don't know how to roll it to make it circular. I try to spin it around, I don't know. I just kind of let the dough be what it wants to be. You know, you can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. So I have both circular cookie cutters and tree cookie cutters. We'll just do kind of a mix of both here and see what we get. I'm gonna start with a tree up here because that looks like a perfect place to get a tree shape, or not. Well, I guess I'm just gonna kind of smush this all back together like you know how you do with sugar cookies, and we'll keep rolling out cookies and we'll be right back. All right, my cookies are ready to go. I have about a dozen round ornament shapes, and I only managed to get, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Christmas trees. But I think that's okay because they're a little bigger. That's why I only got 10 instead of 12. So now we have to roll out our colored doughs. This is where I get a little lost. Like, how am I supposed to do this? I don't know. I guess let's roll out all 5 because I want to be able to I want my whole kind of artist's palette in front of me while I'm decorating, right? It's really not that much material to work with. You know, when I Googled stained glass cookie, this is not what came up. It seems like a real stained glass cookie is like where you melt like a Jolly Rancher or something in the center of a sugar cookie and it like actually looks like a pane of glass. This is something else. This is some sort of other artistry. Okay, we have our 5 colors. Beautiful, gorgeous. Let's decorate our cookies. Cut out different shapes to fit on top of each plain cookie shape. If you wish to hang your cookies on your Christmas tree, insert a small piece of paper drinking straw through the top of each cookie before baking. Okay, focus. What are we trying to do here? I'm just gonna try to replicate what's on the front of the card. I'm just gonna cut a strip of green. We'll start there. Now, let's just say I wanted to place this strip of green on this cookie. And I'll just cut it like that. Okay, that's not bad. Now let me put another strip on the bottom. Now let's do a strip of red. Okay. What if I only get 3 strips on? Or 4? Who has time for this? This is insane. I'm gonna put a little strip of orange on, I guess. I don't know. Is that something? There should be 5 strips. Ooh. Well, I'm doing something. I'm doing something. Whether or not they read as stained glass is none of my business. This is exhausting. Okay, I'm gonna keep messing around here and then we'll be back. Okay, so I finished my ornament cookies. They don't look great. They definitely look like a child made them instead of, you know, an adult woman with a degree in graphic design. But I did come to the conclusion that if I just work with stripe thickness as like my key graphic motif, it did start to get better. So once I started to do these last like 5 were like thick stripe in the middle, thin stripe above and below, it started to get somewhere. But they're not great. I'm hoping that the oven will kind of smooth everything out and it'll just look like a fun striped colorful cookie. So let's get these in the oven and then we'll work on the trees. Okay, the first batch is out of the oven and they don't look as bad as I thought. As I predicted, they kind of melted outwards as they cooked, but that actually helped kind of solidify the color palettes. And so they just kind of look like striped cookies, which is really great. I'm really excited with how they turned out. I mean, could they be better? Yes. But they don't look as bad now that they're cooked. So I'm gonna let these cool on a cooling rack and we'll finish the Christmas trees. All right, our cookies are out of the oven. It's time to give them a taste. They look better than they did going in, let's just say that, but they don't look great. Am I completely happy with these? No. But let's give them a try. It's Christmas. Let's spread good holiday cheer, shall we? I'm gonna go with the Christmas tree one. It's a sugar cookie. It's a good sugar cookie. It's very buttery, very light, very delicate, melts in your mouth. But to me, sugar cookies taste better with frosting. And this has no frosting. It just has more sugar cookie. So in that way, it's kind of plain and sad. It doesn't even have that much sugar. It's not even that sweet. Because all we put in it was powdered sugar. You know, it's fine. It's okay. It's all right. I'm eating it. Is it the best cookie I've ever had? No. But it's a classic sugar cookie. Okay, so stained glass cookies. Kind of a waste of time. They were so much work, so much detailed work. If you're really bored, maybe if you're like stuck in a snowstorm, you can't leave the house, the TV's out, all the books are gone, you truly have nothing else to do. Maybe you could make these sugar cookies. They're just so much work. There's so much work. And I thought I was gonna have fun with it, But then as soon as they started to not look very cute, the effort for the reward, like, balance was off, and so I just started to get frustrated. They did turn out cute. I like the idea. If you like layer multiple layers of sugar cookie on top of one another, the way they kind of like sink in and create kind of a cohesive, like, multi-layered kind of structured thing is really fun. I just don't think they turned out very good because you need to really be super precise, and I'm sure there's ways for me to get more precise with it. Like, I considered like using other cookie cutters to get more precise edges. Like, I could have used a ruler to get really like even slices of color. Like, there's a way to do this where they would turn out beautiful. But the average American making a sugar cookie in their home, yeah, it's just too much work. I'd rather just frost a regular sugar cookie. So they tasted okay, but like nothing to really tip the scales. So I think I'm gonna give it 2 out of 5 red spoons. Okay, back in the box. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, check out Candy Cane Cookies next for another Christmas cookie treat. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and until next time, happy holidays and happy homemaking.